So, hello, welcome to our second edition of the RePlay podcast, where we speak with special people in this industry, people that have made a big difference, and we get to hear their stories. And today, you have a great one from someone I've known many decades, Terry Moss, Moss Distributorship. Been doing this since business has been since '61, and he jumped in the mid '70s, and he has a fascinating story. So welcome, and I hope you enjoy this version of our RePlay podcast. Here's Terry. And today we're speaking with Terry Moss, Moss Distributors. You know, part of this podcast is talking to people that have really made a difference, and Terry's made a difference. He's been doing it for a long time, highly successful. And Terry, I appreciate you. We have a lot of history here, going back longer than I could imagine, beyond me, back to my father, doesn't it?
Yeah, I love Stan Chilton. I was doing business with Stan Chilton prior to even knowing you, Randy, with all due respect. And Stan was a professional. He was a gentleman. He was fair. He was honest, and I liked him.
Well, and we are always you're always one of my favorite guys, because back in the day you took care of Chilton Vending, and I'm pretty sure you had your ex CFO screaming at you for some of the deals you made, but you took care of us, and we certainly appreciate it. So anyway, let's do this kind of in reverse. Tell me about Moss Distributing today. What is what? Just talk about your business just a little bit. Most people know, because everybody knows Terry Moss, but what's Moss Distributing today?
Well, we are a wholesaler distributor of coin-operated machines. We have a gentleman in Denver. We have a facility in Minneapolis, a gentleman in Milwaukee, Des Moines, and of course, Kansas City, Missouri. And we function as a wholesaler distributor of selling of coin-operated amusement devices throughout the world. I'm very demanding. I make my people travel. We do reports. We communicate. We even work a little bit on Saturday and Sunday, but more important, we cater to the operator. We've expanded our business in that we're handling the Goldfinger amusement product, which is our product that comes in Vietnam. They're monitors. We're also in the plush business now. We brought a lady on by the name of Paula, who used to be with Coast to Coast. So we are we're open to anything. If you want to buy something, we'll sell you monitors, we'll sell you games, and more important, we'll give you parts and service, and we'll give you plush. And we're trying to expand our business.
Now, I think what I'm about to say is true, but you've always avoided the temptation to get into operating. Is that correct or not?
We don't operate because we don't want to compete with the people that we sell equipment to. It causes nothing but problems.
But most of distribution in the year 2025 operates all over the place. So you're one of the few that don't. Is that a correct statement? I don't know distribution
I would say, as busy as I am, I wouldn't have time to do it and do it properly.
Oh yeah, that's a really good point. So you've seen this business go through many twists and turns over your decades, and we're gonna rewind the clock here in a minute. But what are some of the biggest? I mean, you have. It's always impressive when somebody navigates enormous changes in a business, and this business has changed half a dozen times since you've jumped into it. What are some of the bigger milestones where you say, even good or bad, throughout the business?
Well, like anything else, Randy, you have to go with the times and anticipate and do planning. You can't predict what COVID brought. You can't predict what tariffs brought. I try to come to work every day with the mind that I'm open to constructive criticism as to what I need, how I need to guide my ship. No different going through soft waters or going through high waters or a tornado or an earthquake. We have to remember that this industry has good points and bad points. What we try to do is be optimistic and go with the flow. And obviously we try to perpetuate our business the way the industry is going and anticipate.
Gaming has changed. The proliferation of gaming has changed the business quite a bit. Is that a true statement from a distribution standpoint?
The operators change, Randy. the FECs dominate our industry now. Not that the street operation is important to us, but there seems to be a lot of new people jumping into our industry that have freed up a lot of money to get involved with with FECs all over the United States, whether it's trampoline parks, water parks, coin-operated chairs, stuff from China, stuff from Japan, boxing machines. It's a variation of every type of novelty there is to sell has made a splash in our industry.
So is that mostly people that own their own businesses and are buying their own equipment, or is there a lot of new operators getting into the business, or a combination of the two?
Every day we have new operators getting in the business, Randy.
Every day?
Every day. Yes, every day. We've been very fortunate. We have a wonderful website. We have good people here. I'm in sales. We have people in marketing, and we have different people that we meet with every day that have a specific job to do to perpetuate our business, to market ourselves more effectively.
So no specifics, but I think what you're saying is business is pretty good right now.
I wouldn't say it's good. It's better than average.
Better than average. Well, I think that has a lot to do with your hard work and commitment to it. So if you don't mind, let's rewind the clock. I've known you for so long that I think I know your background, and I think Monster has been in business. I took this off your website. 61 years, is that right?
I'm second generation. I came here in the late 70s, and I haven't left.
I think it's an interesting story. Are you comfortable talking about how you got into the business? Because I know there was a family tragedy that.
I had gone to school and graduate school in Arizona, and I was working in California. And my dad asked me to come back to Iowa and learn the business. I spent summertime, working here at Moss Distributing, learning the business, but I didn't actually have 2 feet on the ground. Within 6 months that I was here, I had an unfortunate, tragic accident where my father and brother died in a plane crash in Kansas City, Missouri. So my intentions were to learn the business, but I got thrown into the business.
So you went from the wading pool to the deep end without.
Yeah, I was thrown in the ocean and told to swim or safe.
And what do you remember? What that had to be a fascinating period of your life. What do you remember of those days? Like, what the heck am I doing? Or
I didn't know what I was doing, Randy. I learned by mistakes. I mean, it's sort of like you going out for the KU football team as a freshman, and you were a walk-on. And the coach said, "Mr. Chilton, we want you to be wide receiver." And there was a couple of guys playing defensive back that are 4-star recruits. And you said, "You mean you want me to run and go to the post, catch the ball and run?" Well, when you got hit the first time, you said, "There's got to be a better way to play this game." You learn by your mistakes, Randy, and your experience.
Oh, well, totally understand. So that wasn't necessarily the career path, or that was the career path that just got escalated because of the accident.
Prompt, real quick, Randy.
All right, so you're jumping in the early 70s. Hey, before that,
1 year is late 70s, Randy.
Late 70s.
Yes,
because you were in. Weren't you in the record promotion, the something? What?
Yeah, I
see. We only know Terry from the game business, but there was a Terry before that. So what was that? What would you do?
I worked for Capitol Records in Hollywood. Okay. And I was a record promoter, and my job was to take a 45, take it to what you call an underground or a radio station, get promotion, so that the album would get sold by getting airplay. And I worked with various artists that Capitol had on their label throughout the Southern California, San Diego area. Interesting job description, what I did. I didn't need a master's degree to do that, Randy.
You needed, I don't know what you needed.
I needed
you're hanging around.
A pair of jeans and a t-shirt to go to work, and really had a fun experience meeting the various artists that I worked with. I was treated very well. I just didn't see a future in it. Okay.
Do you have one story of an artist you hung with or something that sticks to your mind?
Yeah, there was a group called Quicksilver Messenger Service, and I met him backstage, and the manager says to me, "How many people are out there, Terry?" And I said, "Oh, 4,000 or 5,000. How much were tickets?" I said, $5. Boy, we made 12,000 bucks today. We're going to go out and celebrate. It was all about money, how much the artist could make. But he also wanted his record promoted so they get more airplay, produce more albums, and get more revenue. It was it was all about selling records, Randy. All about promoting and selling records to radio stations.
So you didn't particularly miss that when you left it and moved to Des Moines, or you?
I found the record business to be very fascinating, kind of my blood, because I met various types of artists, from the Beach Boys to Grand Funk Railroad, the Quicksilver Message Service, to Steve Miller, Glenn Campbell, all those personalities, and most of them were very cordial. I dealt with their managers. Helen Reddy from Canada was very difficult to get along with. Her husband Jeff Wald wanted more airplay. It was a fascinating time. I got to travel all over California, San Diego, Las Vegas, and I had fun. It wasn't about money; it was about having fun.
Well, at that age, that's the right priority.
And then my dad got a hold of me and said, "Terry, you need to come home and learn the business." Why? That means I have to leave Southern California. He says, "Yeah, you're going to move to Des Moines, Iowa." So I moved to Des Moines, Iowa, and the rest is history, Randy. I haven't left this desk, which was my father's desk, and I sit here every day and enjoy what I do. I like competition, and I enjoy this industry. It's in my blood.
Now, if I could rewind the clock and meet your dad, are you like him? Was he very different? What was Phil?
I think we're somewhat alike. He was very competitive, always wanted to win. He taught me the business his way, and then I functioned the way that I need to function in the 70s, 80s, 90s, and in the year 2000 or 2025. But I'm fascinated by this industry. I love what I do. I love my travels. I love my peers. I love my competition. I have no bone to pick with my competitors whatsoever. We're all in it to make money and do well. I just want to do better.
Yeah. Is it, do you mind if I ask your age? I know you're.
Yes, I'm 49 years of age. Randy, I'm 80 years old, and I've been doing this for over 50 years.
My goodness. You're just going to keep doing it. You're just going to keep doing it, aren't you? Because you love it every day.
I don't, Randy, I'm a boring person. I'm married. My wife says I'm boring. I leave here at 5 o'clock. I'll go to the gym. I'll come home and have dinner, maybe do some work at home, and I get up the next day and go to work. I'm pretty boring. I'm what you call beige, Randy. I'm pretty simple. I don't care to travel to Europe and go to the Roman Empire. I like to stay. I like to work. I don't mind traveling, in the United States, but I like what I do. I enjoy. It's in my blood. And if I retired, Randy, what would I do? I don't play golf. I did play with you once. You were a phenomenal golfer, but I don't play golf because I don't have time. I'm not a tennis player. As long as I can get to the gym and work out, then mentally and physically, I feel good about myself.
I mean, you still work out every day?
No, I work about 3 or 4 times a week.
Because you were
sometimes on Saturday I'll go to the gym twice a day. To be honest with you, I just like to work out. To me it's in my blood. I just want to work out.
Yeah, well, obviously there's something to it because you look fantastic, and good for you.
Randy.
You went through a period of your life where you were like, you really took this bodybuilding as a profession, didn't you?
At one time I competed, but I didn't want to do that because I don't smoke or drink, Randy. So to compete, you had to take drugs to compete. And I'm not going to do steroids or growth hormones. I'm not Sylvester Stallone. I'm not going into the jungle, Randy, to take on the world. Okay. I won't do drugs. I don't even drink. I don't do anything that's against the law. I just want to follow the rules.
Working for you. Keep it up. If
I plan on it, Randy, because even when I take time off to go to Arizona, I leave on a Thursday, and by Saturday I want to come back home because there's nothing for me to do. How many times can you get Starbucks coffee? How many times can you walk the dog? How many times can you go out for dinner? I just want to get back to my environment and get to my desk so I could touch it and feel it and smell it. I'm a pretty simple guy, Randy.
Well, I just love hearing you say that, because if my wife, when she watches this, she'll say, "Well, hey, you're Terry." Yeah, that's how she would describe me. I mean, I still enjoy what I do, and a lot of my peers have decided to go on cruises and play bingo and eat food buffets, and that's just not my deal. But I can't play more golf, Terry. So I still work plenty of golf in, so there would not be more golf in my life. So
Randy,
good.
I like the people in this industry. Yeah, don't misunderstand. Every day is a challenge. I think the hardest thing in this business is not the customer or the manufacturer. It's the people that I work with. I have a work ethic that I expect them to do what I do. And sometimes that doesn't work that way. In other words, I don't take vacations on Friday afternoon. I'm at my work desk at 5 o'clock on Friday afternoon. If it's even 85 degrees, I'm here at work. It's in my blood. I'm old fashioned. Call me what you want. I'm very basic, very simple. I read a lot about this industry. I have a desk with everything organized. I'm very organized. If you were to call me and ask me a question about something, I could look it up and find it for you.
Well, that I know to be true firsthand. You got a lot of customers, and you always made the Chilton family feel important. So I'll never
They
forget
made me
that.
feel important, Randy. I
Yeah,
respected your family. I loved your dad. And when Stan spoke, you listened.
I certainly did.
Did too.
I certainly did.
And you know something? You learn a lot talking to Stan Chill because he was the straw that stirs the coffee.
Well, yes, he was, and we certainly miss him. But thank you for the comments about Stan. We don't talk about him often enough. But
Thank you.
um, so you were at one, but wait a minute, I'm disconnected here. At one point, you sold to Rowe, or fill in the blanks there. I know you
In
did something with Rowe.
1985, Nelson Peltz bought a company called Triangle Industries, and they owned Rowe International. And at
Mhm.
that time, Randy, I had an office in Denver, Colorado, and I was in Minneapolis and in Des Moines, might have been in Omaha. And Mr. Peltz, if you Google him, he went on to be a multi-billionaire.
Hmm.
And he said to me, "There's not room enough for both of us in Denver. One of our offices has to go." He says, "I'm advising you, young man, to come to New York and we'll buy you out." So my CFO and I went to New York. We sat down in this huge conference room. And he says, "Are you ready to make a deal today?" And I said, "I don't know." I said, "By 5 o'clock, we'll have a deal done." And at 3:30, we had a deal done.
Oh my
And,
goodness.
and he took over my offices. At that time, I was part of Rowe, and they had factory offices. I was in charge of the western part of the United States. And Jerry Gordon, who was a dear friend of mine, was
Oh
part of
yeah.
the East Coast. And that's when Rowe and Bally competed on factory-owned offices. A year later, Mr. Peltz bought National Can, American Can. He bought Snapple. And he says, "Terry, we don't want to be in your business. Take it back and have a good day, and God bless you."
Really?
And I thanked him. And in 1987 or whenever it was, I walked across the street and started over again.
So you had an office in Denver and Des Moines at that time, or everything was in Denver?
Well, I worked for Rowe International.
Yeah. Okay.
They had factory offices in those states. And when he bought Triangle Industries, Rowe was part of the package that he got. So we competed on jukeboxes. So he said, "One of us has to go." And he said, "You're going to be the one that goes."
Sound like quite a character. And he went on to
Well,
do
if
very
you
well.
Google Nelson Peltz, he still is a character. He just, I think if you Google him, you'll find him very interesting what he's purchased through his junk bond buying.
That's a pretty good story. So then you got back in it, and you found your way back to Des Moines, and
Yeah,
here
I
you
was
are.
in Des Moines. Yeah.
And here you are.
He had me commuting to New York once a week. So when we went to visit him, Randy,
Yeah.
in New York, he was never there. So he said to myself and my CFO, "Just tour the city." So after about 9 months of touring the Trump Tower and walking all over New York, we came back and said, "Why do we go to New York? He's never there." He said, "Just sit in the conference room and just take care of business." And then he he told us that he didn't want to be in this industry anymore.
Hmm.
So,
And
okay.
your
Here's my
CFO,
boss.
you're talking about is Ira.
Ira, yeah, Ira retired about 2 years ago. Yes.
Yeah. Ira used to call us a lot on, 31st day of a 30-day payable.
Yeah, I wonder what he was wanting. Randy, your family paid your bills. Let there be no misunderstanding. Stan Chilton paid his bills.
That's pretty funny. Let's see. What else did I want to ask you? So when I think of you, I wrote down a couple of words here and just things that, because you and I spent time together, and then I went and did other things, and so we kind of reconnected. But I wrote down Terry Moss is aggressive. You're an aggressive guy. You're a man of very high morals. I think more than anybody I've met in this business. If you say you're going to do something, you can take it to the bank, and that's a huge credit. To your other point, you're a hardworking guy, and you're a family man. Because if I remember right, most of our calls we ended up talking about the Kansas Jayhawks or what Colt was up to on the hockey field. Yeah. How would you describe yourself?
Well, Randy, I feel the same way that you do. If I'm going to be in business, I want to try to be the best at what I do. But what's important to me is ethics, communications. I'm a firm believer. I learned that at Arizona State, my first year in college, Business 101. You must communicate. And in my situation, when I hang the phone up, I want to make sure my customer is satisfied with what we did and what we talked about, because I can't read your mind. And if there's an issue, I have a mobile phone right here. Call me, because I get more calls on Saturdays and Sundays, because when you own your own business, you care the most because you want to make sure you're successful. But you also want to remember one thing: you must take care of your employees. They're the heart and soul of your business. So I want to run a ship that everybody's honest, everybody's sincere, and my customers are happy with what we're doing, because it's a tough business. I find myself involved with parts and service. And if a customer calls, he has a problem, I want it taken care of. And it's tedious. You can't please everybody at City Hall, but you try to do the best you can. And I will say this: the customers that I've had are not customers, they're friends, like yourself. They're friends. And business is business, but friendship relates to business, okay? You must have a rapport and a relationship with your customer, or you'll get no business at all.
Wise words. Thank you. Thank you for that. So you said, I want to go back to something else you said, that there's a lot of people getting into the business. That my visibility, I don't really see that. We don't sell to anybody. They're getting into the business to open up family entertainment centers. Is it that simple in some fashion or another, whether it be tramp parks or whatever?
I don't think it's simple. I think they need guidance, but they want to get in the business, and they'll call, and they'll want to know. They have an FEC, and I'll just use a poor example, in Houston, Texas. We're opening up an FEC. What can you do for us? Well, I don't know who they are, but we can certainly find out real quick. And they're legitimate people. And we've opened up a lot of new FECs of people that wanted to be part of this industry because they feel it, and it is a growth industry. Now that's curtailed, Randy, in the last 6 months from what it was after COVID. But most of these people are still, that we find, we get a lot of new customers, Randy, a lot of new customers. I don't know how many, but I'd say we get quite a few a week. I don't have that number, nor do I feel comfortable disclosing it, but we have a lot of interesting new customers, new blood. And we have people that we've never done business before that we're finding that we're able to do business with. Competition is wonderful. I don't speak bad about my competitors. They're wonderful people. I just want to outwork them.
I think if somebody works harder than you in this business, I have not met them. So is there any failure rate on these FECs, higher or lower, or are they generally, year or two down the road, they're still going strong? Or
we've had no failure because we have a system here that's done by our accounting department that we want to pay our bills. And if we're not able to pay our bills from our customers, then it's best that they go elsewhere. There is a requirement. You got to pay your bills. We're not a nonprofit organization. So I've had no failures, not that I'm aware of, knock on wood. No failures. I really mean that.
Yeah,
None.
yeah. Your darn energy level is just contagious. So that's pretty impressive. I can tell you love what you do. Hey, you got an award. Arachnid recognized you recently at the Amusement Expo. Congratulations.
Thank you, Randy. I appreciate that.
What did that entail? Is that
It
you
was
sold
their largest dart distributor in the world.
You were their largest dart distributor in the world.
Yes.
Well, that's just dang impressive.
We got lucky, Randy. We got lucky.
Well, we could do a whole nother 30 minutes just on.
We got lucky.
But the core, so the core dart, pool table, jukebox business is still strong with all the digital jukeboxes, and that there's still a core group of operators out there.
Yeah, I would say that the dart business is in the Midwest. I don't know about when you have dart leagues like we do in the Midwest, and we sell a lot of darts. It's part of our history. The jukebox, the pool tables, the darts is a big factor in the Midwest. And I have a great relationship with Touch Tunes that now owns Arachnid. And we carry a lot of darts on hand. We sell a lot of darts. It's a good business, Randy. It's a wonderful business.
I'll be darned. Well, that's more than anybody in the world. That's quite an honor. Well, good. What have I forgotten to ask you? Your story is quite fascinating.
No, I'm a regular guy, Randy. I'm not after publicity. I wanted to do this interview with you because I've known you for so many years. I've known you, 40 years, Randy? I think I knew you when you were a Jayhawk.
I think you probably did. So,
but I did business with Stan before
way.
I knew. I did business with Stan before I knew you.
Yeah, that's all true.
As long as I'm going to do this, I'm going to try to be professional and respect my industry and respect my peers and respect the people I'm selling to as to what their wants and needs are, and hope I can accomplish that. I don't think I'm any different than people that you know in life, whether it's a professional golfer or a tennis player or someone at your company. You try to rise to the occasion and with the intentions of pleasing the customer and making him happy and making him money and tell him why he's going to make money. And that's what I do.
That formula seems to be working well for you.
Well, I hope so.
Well, Terry, I appreciate your time. This has certainly been the highlight of my week, getting to sit down and talk with you. The folks at RePlay said they've been chasing you for years. And I said, well, Terry's sitting down with me. So we're all very excited, and we want to talk to folks that have made a difference, have been doing this for a long time, that are kind of legends in the business. And you check every box, my friend. So thank you for taking the time.
Thank you for your time. I appreciate it. If there's something that you need from me, then you have my mobile number. One thing I do, when you call me, you get an answer back, don't you?
7 days a week.
Yeah. And that's
7 days a week.
Good Lord willing, that's my intention.
Thank you, Terry. We'll be in touch.
Thanks, Randy. Take care, buddy.
Game over.